Hey guys, it's Mr. Sailors here with the first ever installment of what I call one-hit wonders. These are a couple topics that you might just get one question on for the AP macro exam. So we don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it's probably going to be, if at all, just one question. And it's called the aggregate production function. And this is what it looks like. And basically it just says the total production in a society will increase with the added capital goods, physical goods, factories, robotic arms, all that kind of fun stuff with physical capital, human capital, skills and education, and technology. And we see it will increase, but it will begin to flatten out at some point. And so the only really way you get growth by going from here to here is by the introduction of new technology. A great little example of this, and you see kind of my example over here, is the reason it flattens out is, imagine if we never updated 1920s factory technology. In the 1920s, it's great, output is shooting up. But in 2003, we would see a diminishing returns in that as the population increases and various things like that. So you need the introduction of technology to see this really bump up, and that factory analogy is why it would flatten. The next one, one-hit wonder right here, is the difference between monetary base and the money supply, right? I think it's going to be pretty basic. What goes into the monetary base? That's a very monetary word of reserves. So you kind of see those two together of why it would go right there in the Venn diagram. And then M1, M2 stuff is money supply, and they of course share currency. The reason the money supply is bigger is because of the 1 over R times excess reserves. That is why. A couple things to think about. If there is a deposit here, you go from currency to deposit. And remember from our balance sheet, you would add $200 here and $200 to reserves. So a deposit would not change monetary base and money supply. The next thing, kind of really quick, if a Fed was to buy or sell a bond, money supply does not change and it would go into excess reserves. So only excess reserves or the monetary base would change. And of course, the third example would be a loan. If a loan happens from reserves, from the excess reserves to the loan, cash is going to increase, of course, and cash is part of the monetary base. So monetary base would not change, but the money supply would change. It would increase from the loan. So remember, from a loan, monetary base does not change, but the money supply increases because currency is increasing. That's part of the money supply. That's the second one. The last one is just really identifying, this has been on the backboard for about a week, is the new ample reserves graphs. I think you're just going to have to identify that when they increase interest rates to fight inflation, only that demand curve and the interest rates are going up, as you see from the black to the blue right there. And when they decrease interest rates, which they do to fight inflation, you see what is going down, which is the blue curve from the black to the blue. That demand curve right there represents IOBR and the FFR. And remember, they become the same rate because of something called arbitrage. Also remember, discount rate acts as a ceiling to the IOBR and the FFR. That's it for One Hit Wonders. Thank you.